Now, the next topic would be, this is second topic. The third topic would be the order of subject and predicate. Now, as we know very well, that subject is usually subject comes at the beginning of a sentence, but most of the time subjects can also be used after or in between the predicate. For example, in interrogative sentences like, can he help you? This is an interrogative sentence. Now over here, to cross check that word, what could be the subject of the sentence. Can is not the subject. To point out the correct, identify a subject and a predicate, what do we have to do? Change the sentence into assertive. For example, he can help you. This sentence has been made assertive. Now you see the naming part in this sentence is he. So he is the subject in a sentence and rest part is a predicate. Similarly, if we take an example like in imperative sentence, this is interrogative sentence. Take an example in imperative sentences like go away, where the subject is usually omitted. So here there is no subject. There is no subject. So we can assume ourselves that it must be you can go away. So the naming part in this sentence is you. So hence we can say subject is you can go away becomes a predicate. When something is said about the subject, that part is called a predicate. Now, third and fourth point to remember is that a subject can be one word, it can be made up of several words. Coming back to the book, you can see this example, I sank. So in this sentence we have just one subject. In the second sentence, just read it very carefully. A very tall and muscular man wearing a black coat with a red cap. This is a naming part in a sentence, hence we call it a subject. So here the subject contains several words. It is not one word. It has several words. A subject can be a pronoun, it can be an infinitive, it can be an adjective, it can be a noun. So I would like to tell you, like all of you must be familiar with these terms, these grammatical terms like pronouns. Now what is a pronoun? The part which is used in place of a noun. The word which is used in place of a noun. Like in this sentence, I shall study my lesson. I is a pronoun. Now infinitives are those words which are used along with to. The verbs to plus verb. To plus verb is an infinitive. So infinitive, they occur with the verb. To plus verb. Over here err means error. To err is human. So this is an infinitive used as a subject. Third sentence has an adjective. You know very well what is an adjective. Adjective is a describing word. Now here the poor. The poor refers to all the poor people. The poor are loved by God. So here the poor is an adjective. Richard was cruel. Now Richard is a naming part. So naming part, it's a noun. The naming word is called a noun. So Richard is a noun used over here. So we can see this is the enlargement of the subject. Just one, this is a single word. This is like more than one word. The poor, Richard, etc. Subject can also be a gerund. What is a gerund? Gerund is a verbal noun. What is gerund? Gerund is a verbal noun. It is used as a noun. It's a verb but used as a noun. Like an example, talking much is a sign of vanity. So talking The verb with ing form is a gerund. Now, next is phrase. A subject can also be enlarged by the use of a phrase. Phrase is a group of words which make some sense but not complete. So this is a phrase. How to convince him of my innocence is the problem now. So hence, this part of a sentence is called, it is used as a subject. Sometimes with the subject we use an attribute. Attribute is enlargement of the subject. Like this is, the young girl was sitting near the table. Young girl. Girl is a noun. So we have added the word young to it to enlarge the subject. Similarly, it can also be like Ranjit Singh, the king of Punjab. The king of Punjab is an attribute to Ranjit Singh. It refers to Ranjit Singh. Ranjit Singh, the king of Punjab, was a lion-hearted man. So here the attribute to the subject is the king of Punjab. Similarly, a stitch in time saves 9. This part, not stitch, the stitch means it's a noun over here. So in time saves, in time over here is the enlargement or attribute to the subject. My views do not appeal to him. When we add a possessive noun, my, so we make it possessive adjective over here because this views is a noun. Okay, refers to a noun. So here we have added an attribute to it. True work. This also true is a word which is added as an attribute. So such subjects, when the subjects are qualified by adjective or adjective equivalent, we call it its enlargement or attribute. Similarly, we have verb and extension. And extension to verbs could be extended. After writing a particular verb, we just have to add in few more words to make it sensible sentence. Like we eat to live. Over here, to live. It could be, when we add this, it's an adverbial qualification. We are, this part of verb, predicate consists of the verb and the part attached to it. So all the predicates have verbs along with it. We can see in these sentences, we eat to live. To live is an extension of the verb eat. We walked all the way. All the way is an extension to the verb walked. She is like her mother. Is like her mother is an extension to the verb is. Similarly, the storm being over. So this italicized word is an extension to the verb set out. And all the italicized words are those words which are slanting, which are written in slant. Now students, next topic would be phrase and a clause. Now both these words are a part of a sentence. These are a group of words which makes some sense but not complete. They make some sense but not complete. Both these words make sense but not complete. Now, if you would be asking a question that then what is the difference? How could you differentiate between both these two between phrase and clause? Now, take this example. Ram knocked at the door. At the door is a phrase. All the phrases, they are used along with the preposition. Second sentence, this box is made of plastic. Of plastic is a phrase. So a phrase consists of preposition, the part which contains a preposition.